Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising for June 2019. I do hope that you are all doing very well. I am really interested to see what's happening for Capricorn. I know it's been quite a journey for all of you this year, and it's amazing how much support and just kind words I have been getting from the Capricorn Collective. So thank you all so much. Really quick before we begin, I just want to let you all know I have links down below for personal readings, Reiki sessions, donation information, and just all sorts of good stuff down there. So definitely check out the description box. I also have blog posts. I have a blog for all of the astrological information I'm going to be referencing throughout this reading. It's actually a bit more extensive than I'm probably going to be mentioning here. I do also have giveaways that I'm offering on this channel now too, so definitely subscribe and follow me on my social media where I post pick-a-card spreads and general collective spreads as well. Yeah, I think that's kind of everything right now. It's been a crazy past couple of weeks. I apologize there's been some gap, a lapse in time since my last video. I am actually in the process of moving. I was out of country for a little while, so there's just a lot of awesome changes that are happening, but it's made it pretty difficult on top of all the private readings I've been giving. So we're just taking things as they come right now. But it's all beautiful, and I have no complaints here, so thank you for your patience. Anyway, before we actually begin this reading, I do like to just disclaim that these are general readings, meaning not all the information that comes through is going to be meant for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Some of the information may come in the reverse, so a third party's energy might actually be your own energy, or vice versa. There could also be astrological signs or genders of the card that get mentioned, but again, that's more energetic, that's fluid, it's not fixed. Don't get too caught up on the specifics there. And again, if this video doesn't resonate, you are more than welcome to check out the other readings for your sun, moon, or rising. I also have love readings as well for mid-May and mid-June to currently posted, so you can definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, I think that is everything. I feel like I'm always missing something there. But I'm just going to kind of dive in now to kind of the pre-shuffle energy as I was tuning into the Capricorn Collective. I actually got some interesting cards. We have this Ten of Wands in the reverse, which was very nice to see, coupled with this Eight of Wands here. Again, this is a really nice combination of cards. I can tell that a lot of you have been shedding a lot of burdens. You're really getting out of this stuck energy, this breaking your back sort of feeling. And this is actually really nice to see because, as I said earlier, my Capricorns have really been going through it. And I'm not going to be coy with you. I have a Capricorn IC, and it's conjunct with a lot of my other placements, my North Node, my Neptune, and I think there's something else there as well. I actually think it's my Lilith. And it's all conjunct there, and all of these intense placements that have been happening with Pluto and Saturn, it's just, I've really been feeling it myself. So you're not alone. I am feeling what's going on for you guys, and I'm so grateful to see that there's this sigh of relief for you with this Ten of Wands in the reverse. It feels like you're really coming into easier times. You're really letting go of a lot of burdens. I feel like a lot of you have already shed stuff. You've already shed these burdens, but some of you may still be ending that. Some of you may still be in the process of letting go of whatever it was that was really holding you back. And it seems like no sooner that you do that, you have this Eight of Wands, this new energy coming in, perhaps travel or new communication, new messages. And this is really nice to see. I do know that at the beginning of June, we have the new moon in Gemini on June 3rd, and that's actually the same day that Venus in Taurus is going to be sextiling Pluto in your sign, Capricorn. So I feel like that's actually going to be a really nice way to start out the month for you. There's going to be a lot of new energy, just this interest in trying new things and meeting new people. And I feel like that's really going to open the door for love for a lot of people, to be honest. It's going to open the door. It's going to make you see love in a totally different way. Or for those of you who are single, there could be someone who's not exactly your type. They're not your normal person, but there's just some sort of draw there. And I feel like this is just really, really exciting energy. And it seems like that might be part of this Eight of Wands as well. There could be this momentum, this forward movement that feels really, really positive. And again, I feel like some of you may be making travel plans, some of you may be moving. It feels really good, and it feels like you're going into a really nice direction. So again, I'm so happy to see that for you, Capricorn. I do know that there are going to be some oppositions towards the middle of June. I believe it is Mars on the 14th and Mercury on the 16th. That actually could be in the reverse. I know that there's also going to be a conjunction between those two planets on the 18th. So there's just this big emphasis on words and actions and doing the things you say you're going to do, having that follow through. It's going to be really it's going to be a really intense energy. I gotta be honest. It's going to be a very strong time. Um, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of restriction there, especially in regards to work, especially with the way you would attain power and attain status. That is going to kind of hit you pretty strongly, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. I feel like those are the fast moving planets. That's not really going to have an impact too long on you anyway, but it's just something to be mindful of. There might be some conflict at the middle of the month in June that you may want to be aware of. We do also have the Sagittarian new full moon. I want to say it's the 19th. That's going to be a really good time to release any blockages that are preventing you from going forward, from traveling, from advancing or seeking out higher knowledge, things that are even blocking intuition or blocking you spiritually. That's a perfect time to release these things. Full moons are all about release because it's after that point that the influence of the full moon actually begins to wane. So whatever it is that you let go of, or whatever it is that you put out there, it will be taken away from you. So it's a good time to shed some stuff. And of course, at the big event at the end of the month, we do have Neptune going retrograde in its native sign, Pisces, which is going to be kind of a lifting of the veil. There's going to be this sense of mystery kind of being lifted. Whatever it is that we've been reflecting on, especially with all of these outer planets going retrograde. This is the fourth outer planet that's going to be retrograde. And the following month in July, we do have Mercury going retrograde as well. So I feel like this year has flown by, right? I actually feel like it's going to be towards the end of this month and going towards the beginning of July. Time is really going to kind of slow down, and I think that's actually going to kind of be a good time to regroup from how quickly things have been happening. I'm feeling like June is going to be a big month for you, Capricorn, with this Eight of Wands. So I think that's going to kind of be a welcome break, whatever it is that's going to be kind of breaking down or slowing down. So I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. But with Neptune going retrograde, that does seem to. It really helps us figure out the future, because there's been this big emphasis on our future for a while with Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn retrograde. We have Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius and Pluto and Saturn in your sign, Capricorn. And this is all to do again with kind of like your place in the world and the way that you show up and kind of your purpose here. I feel like the mystery is going to kind of be lifted. There might be some rude awakenings that happen because Neptune can kind of let things happen behind the scenes. And when Neptune goes retrograde, that's when we actually kind of get the rude awakening, when we kind of see what's been going on behind our backs. But going forward, it's not a bad thing because we're not as susceptible to falling for deception or delusioning or delusions or illusioning ourselves. So it's a really strong time, and I feel like dreams have a much more vivid quality as well. So some of you may be having much more vivid dreams by the end of the month. And that's kind of just applying to the collective at large. So again, there's a lot of very interesting and exciting energy. I do also think that Neptune is going to be sextiling you as well, or some of those planets in your sign too. So that might be something to keep your eye out for. I I think that's going to be more in July, however. Anyway, that's kind of it for the astrological pre-read energy. Again, things feel really positive. Some of you may still be shedding some burdens, but I feel like for most of you, you've already started doing this. Things are already lightening up, and it's just gonna let you fly. So, good stuff, right? All right, I am going to shuffle the deck here, and we are going to begin the actual reading. I invite all of you to kind of tune in to the universe as well, ask for guidance and wisdom. That actually does assist this reading. It does allow the messages to come through, even though it's already recorded. This energy is timeless, and whatever it is that people are going to be putting out, I'm going to be receiving that. So, yeah, it's helpful to kind of center your energy as well. What are the messages for Capricorn? We already have one card here. Awesome. All right, so it's actually looking pretty good for you, Capricorn. This is kind of looking at May, what was happening for you May, or happening leading up into June. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Five of Wands in the reverse. So, I feel like with the Seven of Pentacles, this is kind of showing up in the day-to-day, the physical position for your life. This is actually really good. I feel like you've been working very hard on something. You're focused a lot on work coming into June. I feel like, again, kind of this long-term harvest sort of mentality. You're really thinking long-term right now. Some of you might be questioning if this payoff is going to be worth it. Some of you might already be seeing some of the fruits of your labors, and you're like, really, this is it? I've been putting in all this hard work for this. And you might be kind of in kind of sour spirits, to be honest, coming into June. But I do feel like there is this sense that this will eventually be something you will reap. Whatever it is you are putting in now, it might take some time. You might not be seeing results right away. You might not have seen the results you had been hoping for in June. But there is still something very viable here. There is still something very fertile. I wouldn't be too worried about it. And honestly, I don't think you are either. You do have this Page of Wands kind of at the heart of this time. I feel like a lot of you are looking forward. You're very excited about what's coming next. Some of you may also be keen on a fire sign, so someone who has a lot of Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo placements. This could also just be someone who is very passionate about what they do. They're starting off a new adventure, they're starting off a new career, or they're just realigning with their purpose. This could also be you aligning with your purpose as well. That's definitely kind of what I'm feeling, especially with that Seven of Pentacles, but some of you could very well also be dealing with a fire sign. And it seems very positive. I also see with this Five of Wands, you have stepped away from a conflict coming into June. There may have been a situation that people were having these power struggles or these ego struggles, and you kind of just walked away. This is showing up in your communication and mental sphere, so you're kind of just, you're backing away from this sort of interaction that no longer serves you. I feel like you're kind of thinning out the people you surround yourself with. You're really questioning who you spend your time with. And this isn't a bad thing. I feel like there's been some negative energy around you for a while, so I feel like you're kind of clearing the air now. Perhaps some of the dust has settled, and right towards the end of May, coming even into June, now that the dust has settled, some of you may be going back to these people, kind of trying to make amends or trying to settle things now that things have cooled down. But overall, it actually doesn't look too bad. It seems like you're very hard at work, and you seem in a good place coming into June. And again, that doesn't mean that things have always been easy. You've definitely been working very hard. That could also be on relationships. That could also be with your family. You've been putting in a lot of work. but I still feel this very strong Capricorn drive. You kind of are a workhorse anyway, so maybe that's actually revving you up. Um, what is the animal wisdom here? Cobra. Interesting. Yeah, so this is, I'm not super surprised to see this. This is a fire card, as indicated by the alchemical symbol for fire. So some of you are definitely dealing with a fire sign. I do, however, feel that this is more a card that speaks about timing. When I think of Cobra, I think of it coming out of the basket, kind of the snake charmers in India, and it's rising to this flute music, dancing with it, and it's waiting for the perfect time to strike. Cobra is also very spiritually strong energy. Some of you are in a very strong place spiritually right now. And this is a card that it's asking for patience before you act. I feel like you've been working very hard and it's going to take time, but follow your intuition, follow this, life force energy, your kundalini. It is whatever is giving you purpose, there is going to be payoff eventually. And I feel like it's actually going to be very soon, but it's just, it hasn't shown up yet. I do feel like meditation is going to be very, very helpful for those of you who haven't already been doing that. This is a really important time for you to meditate, to really get in touch with your spirituality. And I actually feel like some of you might be coming into there's this awakening. Some of you might even be meeting a spiritual teacher or finding a new guide or mentor who is able to impart wisdom onto you or give you a perspective that opens up new worlds for you. That's feeling very interesting, and I'm kind of seeing that with this Page of Wands as well. You're very much looking off into the distance, looking off into the sky here, seeing what's out there, and I feel like your world is opening up, and there is kind of a teacher that could either be a person or an event that has opened you up coming into June. So that's very, very interesting. I'm going to be pulling now to see what we have for the first half of June. All right, all right. A lot of reversals here. So we have the Hermit in the reverse, the Fool in the reverse, and we do have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So, it's interesting. I do feel like some of you are coming out of hermit mode. Maybe after the spiritually enlightening experience you had with this Cobra last month, you are kind of sharing this more. You're sharing your wisdom. You're coming down from the mountain. You're coming out of this recluse mode. You're sharing your insight. And I feel like this is really actually quite positive. I feel like you're opening up a lot more. You're meeting new people at the first half of June, which is kind of what we were talking about before. And you're really you're shedding your light to the rest of the world. It's not that people are coming to you, you're coming to the people. You're giving the people what they need. And that's very strong. Some of you may also be dealing with a Virgo, someone who has a lot of Virgo placements. There could be some sort of blockage there at the beginning of the month. They also could be coming out of hermit mode as well, too. That's something to kind of keep in mind. This is the Virgo card after all. But I feel like overwhelmingly, this is actually you kind of coming into a group, coming out of hermit mode yourself. I do have this Fool card in the reverse, kind of in the heart of the read, actually. There is, I feel like some of you are still struggling to make a leap of faith. I'm actually, interestingly enough, getting the sense that this is more of an Aries energy, however, for a lot of you, for a larger current than I would expect for this card. There's an Aries who you're having some sort of blockage with, and you did have the Page of Wands in the past, so it could very well be this fire sign. It may not even necessarily be Aries specifically, but this feels like an individual. This feels like someone who, has been a bit reckless with you. You might be kind of recovering from that. You might be afraid to make a move towards this person or reach out. Even though you're coming out of this hermit mode, there's still this part of you that's holding back with this Fool in reverse. You're still not sharing your emotions too readily at the beginning of June. There is something I am kind of seeing there. And someone on the reverse end, they might actually be a bit too hasty with you. They might be coming too strongly at you with this Fool in reverse. and I almost feel like you're kind of closed off to whoever this is, which is interesting. I do have with this Three of Pentacles in the reverse, kind of in the communication sphere, it does seem like people aren't really working together. There's not a lot of cooperation, and that's okay. It might just be time to kind of work on your own thing and focus on that later. Of course, if you are working collaboratively or you're supposed to be, that might be a bit difficult. And again, this actually could be more towards the middle of the month, kind of the end of the first half of June, because again, we did have those oppositions with Saturn. That's going to present some challenge in regards to communication and working together with people, especially enacting plans together. There might be some difficulty there the first half of June, I gotta be honest. But overall, I'm not too worried about it. Just keep in mind it might be hard to collaborate with other people. And that could be in all sorts of different contexts. It could be business, it could be love, it could be personal relationships. There might just be some lack of communication or lack of being on the same page here with this Three of Pentacles. I'm going to pull an animal card now to see what they have to say. That's way too many. What is the animal wisdom for Capricorn in the first half of June? What is the animal wisdom for Capricorn in the first half of June? Yeah, again, there seems to be some issues communicating. The message isn't coming up super readily yet. Okay, interesting. So this is actually the card that was on the bottom of the deck, I noticed, for the first card, and the lion came out this time. So again, a lot of you definitely seem to be dealing with a fire sign, and it seems like there's still going to be some uncertainty, or there's going to be a little tension there. And I feel like the lion, it's telling you to just, again, meditate. I think of lion on the rock, meditating in the sun. And there's also this tendency with the lion card. I feel like this is referring to a tendency to come off as very strong, almost to your detriment. People perceive you like this lion. They perceive you as very strong and almost aloof or distant, but there is actually a very big heart here. Lion is someone who has a big heart, even if you don't always see it, even if they seem very almost above you, perhaps. They kind of have this air around them of grandeur. There's actually a lot of emotions, there's a lot of depth, and there's a lot of passion that runs through this person. And a lot of people don't ever see this person for who they really are. Now, this could be referring to your energy, or it could actually be referring to another person. So keep your mind open to that. It's not feeling super clear. I do feel like, however, it's just important to be mindful of who you are spending time with. Make sure you're spending time with positive friends, people who really see who you are and really encourage that authenticity. And also to meditate, to keep meditating, to keep focusing on the spirituality that opened up for you in May. It's going to keep growing. This is a card of self-mastery, so there is a need to master yourself in the beginning of June. I'm going to now look at the second half of June, or kind of just the outcome of where all of this is leading us right now. It could be even further out into July or beyond, so just keep that in mind. Nice. Nice, okay. Interesting. So, I see this Lover's card here, always a welcome sight. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we do have the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. You know, a lot of earth energy, I gotta say. There's a lot of earth and fire that's showing up here. This Lover's card, it's presenting, I feel like this is kind of the result of you coming out of hermit mode, you working on yourself, doing the thing you love. I actually feel like it is bringing in love for a lot of you, or it's deepening this connection that you already have with someone else. I do feel like there is actually this element, there's kind of a dual interpretation for this card. There is this choice that you need to make. You need to choose between two things that you love towards the end of June. There is going to be this need to kind of figure out what your priority is. There is a need for a commitment here, especially in the day-to-day regarding work or career or life purpose. You're going to really need to commit to that. And this could also be indicating a Gemini who's going to be coming into your life as well, who's going to be very, very helpful for you. But I'm feeling more that this is just a love in general. It doesn't feel super Geminian for the majority of you. And this does also kind of remind me of, I feel like with this Gemini new moon, it's a good time to set intentions, especially for love, to even write out a list and to plant it into the ground on the night of the new moon. And by the full moon, I feel like a lot of you are actually going to have some sort of manifestation realized, especially relative to love. As I said, with that new moon, there's a big placement, there's a lot of change that can happen, a lot of dynamic energy with that Pluto sextiling Venus. So things can really be shaken up in a really good way, and I think you're going to start seeing that towards the end of June. I do feel like, you know, especially if you've been dealing with this fire sign, there could be some sort of commitment that comes from them towards the end of the month, even though things might be a bit rocky at the start here. It does seem things are opening up. With this Four of Pentacles, I do see that there is this tendency, you may be holding back, you may be holding on to something still, you may be having a hard time coming forward, but I actually feel like this isn't so bad because it's like you finally have the sense of something that's yours. That's really what I'm getting actually from this card. It's like you finally have something that's yours and it feels really good, and it's like this, it's just you're cherishing whatever this is. And I almost want to tell you not to give this up too quickly. But you know, I see throughout this month there is this difficulty opening up with the Fool in reverse and the Four of Pentacles. There is kind of this holding on to something, this holding back. So that is something to be mindful of. Don't hold back too much, but definitely don't give away your baby either, because you have something very, very precious by the end of June, and don't give that up so quickly. You know, with the Six of Pentacles that's kind of showing up in the reverse, someone may be asking a bit too much of you. And someone may actually be asking you for money or for some sort of assistance. This is kind of showing up in the communication sphere. So, you know, there might be this lack of give and take, that there might be an imbalance there. So that is something to keep in mind. There might also be a little bit of a money depletion. I gotta be honest, I am kind of seeing that. Some of you might be losing a little bit of money, and perhaps that's why you're holding on with this Four of Pentacles here as well. So be careful with what you are spending. I do know that there's also a lot of, I believe there is a conjunction with Jupiter, and there's some sort of aspect with Jupiter and Venus. Again, this is all in the blog post, and it's much more extensive. There is this tendency, there's going to be this tendency to overspend, especially on travel or on some sort of spirituality or some sort of learning on classes. So do keep that in mind. You might want to be a bit frugal, because there might be a kind of a penny pinching by the end of June. That is something I am seeing for some of you. But again, I'm not super worried about it. It doesn't feel devastating. What is the last animal message for Capricorn? Vulture. Yeah, so this is interesting. I do feel like, again, some of you are going to be letting go of something or some money. There is kind of this need to shed things, so don't panic. This isn't even necessarily anything that's bad. Some of you may be losing something that you're kind of cherishing. But I feel like there's something better coming your way. And Vulture isn't actually a bad card. I know it can kind of be ominous to see. It can kind of make people feel on edge. But Vulture is actually a really wonderful creature because it's a purifier. It brings balance back to an ecosystem. Wherever there was illness, there is going to be something that is healed. So I actually see that there is kind of this emphasis of healing at the end of June for some of you. There is also this current of mediumship. Some of you may be getting messages from the other side, from deceased loved ones or from spirit guides, and that's going to be coming to you towards the end of June, especially if you are working on this meditation. I do see that progression with Cobra, Lion, and then Vulture. You may very well be connecting with energies from beyond the veil, especially especially with Neptune going retrograde. And I believe that is the 27th of June. Um, so that's very interesting. I feel like you're gonna have some sort of contact. Um, you'll definitely have to comment down below and let me know what messages you're receiving at this time. And this may even be out more towards July, to be honest, but that is a current I'm picking up for you. So that's quite exciting. But again, keeping your space clear and, you know, even burning sage or palo santo or some sort of herbs, doing energy work, cleansing the space is going to be really, really important for you. And it does feel like that is going to kind of happen either way. It does feel like there is going to be some sort of shedding. You might be giving stuff away. You might be donating things. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. Whatever it is you're losing isn't really serving you anymore anyway. So again, don't worry too much about that. Those are all the messages I am getting for you right now, Capricorn. I do hope that this video was helpful. Again, make sure to hit like and subscribe, comment down below and let me know what's going on. Follow me on my other social media for the giveaways and the other readings that I'm doing, and also check out the other videos if this one didn't resonate or if you just want a clearer picture of what is going on in your life. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye, Capricorn.